Hello and thank you for joining our Bytes webinar today. Today we'll be talking about utilising software assurance benefits to deliver a blended learning solution. We have Rachel Gill here from Bytes and Rachel Lomas from ARC IT Training who will go through the webinar with you. Just before we start, just a couple of housekeeping rules. You will be muted, but you can submit any questions that you have at any time into the questions box, which is on the right-hand side of your screen. There will be an opportunity for you to submit any questions, and they'll be answered at the end of the session. Once the webinar has finished, you will also see that a critique form comes up. If you could fill that in when you're finished, that would be brilliant because we appreciate all feedback that you give us. And the webinar will also be recorded and will be made available on our website shortly after the webinar. So I'm now going to pass over to Rachel Gill from Bytes.
Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today on our webinar. Today on the call we have a mix of customers. Some customers are from our licensing, are from training, or are software assurance customers, or customers that are thinking to become one of these one of our customers to use our services. But the one common objective is that you're looking to offer some end user training, a blended program where you can help your users upgrade or refresh their desktop environment in the forthcoming year. Today we hope to be able to show you how we can help achieve this by offering a high level stages of a blended learning, looking at your three elements of the software assurance. So now let's have a look at the agenda. Here with the agenda, we're going to give you a brief overview of the Bytes divisions, looking at the services that my team, the Bytes Learning, offer. Look at your software assurance benefits that we can utilise in a blended learning, and then my colleague Rachel Lomas will give a live demonstration of our blended training platform, and then we will have time for some questions and answers. Okay, so Bytes Software Services. Bytes Software Services have three propositions, as well as we have a partner ecosystem: software asset management, software licensing, and today we're going to have a look at learning services. Here you'll see a list of corporate customers that use a number of our services at Bytes Software Services. Some use all our three propositions, or some just contact us for training. You'll see that we've got sectors from legal, finance, media, retail, manufacturing, professional services, utilities and transport. We can actually help any sort of sector of customers that are looking for anything to do with licensing, software asset management or training. I've just shown here a couple of awards that Bytes Software Services have achieved over the forthcoming years. And now Bytes Learning Services. So what do we do? Bytes Learning Services, we are actually a broker and we help customers with sourcing a number of their training requirements. In 2012, Bytes organised just under 3,000 public courses, and we provided trainers on site just under 300 for office migrations. Our services include bespoke training, e-learning, help with licensing academy, help with your training budgets. We can provide you with a portal, help with the migrations and upgrades, which we're going to look at in more detail today, as well as help with global deliveries, and also help utilise your software assurance benefits. How are we doing this? Well, we can help support each stage of your training program, looking at scoping, delivery, to management and the post-assessments. We can help define, design, deliver and manage all your training requirements by offering various solutions in those stages. So let's have a look at trainers. We work with a pool of trusted trainers who can help deliver training on site. The training on site can be the traditional classroom, hands-on delivery, half a day or a full day. We can provide seminars, or we can provide 45-minute workshops on niche applications, say for your accounts department or your secretaries on Word. And also the trainers can offer floor walking support where they can work with the help desk or walk around the floors offering desk side support. We find this works quite well because sometimes people who are attending training don't like asking questions during the training session or seminar, but when the trainers at desk side, they can actually ask the questions while they're actually using their own desktop. If you've got your own in-house trainers, then we can provide you with a super user training program which will get your trainers up to speed on the new features, as well as we will cover frequently asked questions, do a bit of role play to see what sort of questions and what problems users might experience if you're doing an office upgrade. We also help with the help desk people. Let's have a look at the Exchange, let's have a look at Link, let's look at SharePoint, and then also let's have a look at the applications that again the users might have problems with. If you've got multiple offices and you don't have time for those users to come to classroom sessions, then why not let's run a virtual classroom where people can log in, either listen to a webinar, or they can actually log on and see a presenter delivering a program, a new features sort of office upgrade. As well as helping you with the trainers, we can actually help you with post-migration support tools. People that need some sort of like extra information while they're actually learning the product at their desk side. If you've got your own in-house trainers or you want your IT to actually deliver the training, we can provide you with a facilitators pack. This includes all the presentations, all the trainers' scripts, the quick reference guides. So what the trainers can do is attend the super user training and then go out and deliver your own sort of like customized training. We can also help with an online PDF manual on new features or core elements of the Office software. We can provide you with quick reference guides, either standard or bespoke quick reference guides. We have in the past created some PowerPoint presentation with voiceover, so they can sit on your intranet or SharePoint and users can log in and listen to a 5-minute sort of presentation on key areas that they need some help with. We work with a number of suppliers that provide us with video solutions where someone can watch again the new features or core applications. Or a performance support tool where a tool sits on your desktop and follows the user around and all the applications, and if they've got a problem they just have to, within 2 clicks, see what the answer is to their problems, a solution. Our trainers. So I did mention that we've got some trusted trainers that we use, and they all have their own certification, either TPMA, TAP or MOS, or have attended some sort of train the trainer certification. All our trainers have been on site at various customers' location. They're not in-house, not at running public courses, they're actually out there in industry, and they can then help share their experience and knowledge firsthand. If you've got global deployment, we've also can assist with helping you source trainers for your global delivery, and we work with a trusted Microsoft partner. These courses can be delivered in English or the local language. As well as helping you with trainers and support tools, we can actually help with the coordination of the end users. Who's going to organise and get those users onto the training courses? Well, we can help you with that. So that means that the IT can go along and just do the desktop upgrade hassle-free without actually having to administrate the users. So here's our services. We provide you with experienced training coordinators who can help with uploading any sort of like course schedule onto a booking system, either by using our Bytes booking system, or you may have your own on your learning management systems. We can help with the confirmation, the join instructions, a course reminder before 48 hours before the course, and help manage cancellations. We liaise with the trainers, so let the trainers know who's attending, giving them rosters, preparing the course evaluations. We can help update the attendees list, chase the no-shows, manage any expenses, and we can produce any reports. So if you need to report on what delegates are attending per department, allocate cost codes, my team can do that for you. So here you'll see a list of recent migrations that Bytes Learning Services have achieved. Our biggest one here is Linklaters. We delivered training to 5,000 users in 27 offices over 6 weeks. The case study is on our website, but if you'd like some further information on our that particular migration, then just let us know. So these customers here, some of them have used all our services, some of them have just used us for our facilitators packs or our videos or our presentations. As I say, we can help with any sort of solution. You don't have to have the whole proposition. You can have what is relevant for your organization. Right, so some of our customers here are Microsoft Software Assurance members, and they are entitled to a number of free benefits. So what I'm going to do is cover some of the free benefits before we have a look at our blended platform. So here is sort of the standard software assurance benefits that a customer may be entitled to benefits. What my department help with is the green area at the bottom which says training vouchers and e-learning. We can also help recommend the home user program. So let's have a look at the technical training vouchers. It depends on how many licenses you have. You may be entitled to a number of technical training vouchers, and this will be available to use against any of the technical new products like SharePoint, Exchange, SQL, Linux, Windows, the latest versions, or if you want an older version, the courses are still available. These courses are actually delivered by Certified Partners of Learning, CPLSs, and there's approximately 27 here in the UK. The vouchers that are given on your agreement can actually be converted to planning days. This is where you may want a consultant to come on site, and yes, we can help with conversion, and the ratio is 3:1. What our Bytes offering is, by working with 5 of those CPLSs, we actually give you an extra day. So if you've got a 30 days, you might get 60 days on the length of your agreement under our 2-for-1 offering. What happens is when we present a voucher to the CPLS, you'll then earn another voucher to the same value, which is then valid for 12 months. What my team help is to balance that, because we know that the agreements are probably 3 years and you want to make the most out of your technical training vouchers to make sure that if you have got a future project that you do have some vouchers available. We also help with the global administration, so where the agreement sits in the UK and you want us to help with training your global sites, we can help with that administration. Unfortunately, the 2-for-1 isn't available outside of the UK. For the UK, some of our CPLSs can actually use the vouchers to deliver a help desk awareness course. So we can cover the Exchange, we can cover the link. We can also have a look at the Office applications as well. And with our 2-for-1 days, one of our partners actually offers end-user training. With these benefits, the benefits vouchers are worth £186 a day. So we want to make sure, being your LAR, that you utilise these vouchers to get the most out of them. Another benefit, as mentioned, is our e-learning that you would get underneath your agreement. The e-learning is for end users. Unfortunately, technical contents is not available anymore for any of the new products. So the e-learning is available, as you can see, 12 collections with 50 English titles on 2000 for Office 2010, Windows 7. If you're looking for Office 13 and Windows 8, Microsoft are currently developing that content, and that won't be available until maybe Q3, Q4 of this year. You can see also there's mentioned here there's 19 other languages that are available. This content is only available for Microsoft Software Assurance members, and it's not available to purchase. So if you're thinking, what is the value of that content? Well, here we've put down, if you were to purchase 500 licenses, it will cost you about £26,000. We have very specialist sort of like course contents underneath the library, and here we've detailed if you were to go out and buy the SharePoint Designer course, you're looking at £30 per license. What I've done here is just listed a couple of the courses that are available underneath the Office 2010. For new features, there's an hour course, or if you want in the full application content, you've got about 4 hours of training. With e-learning, as always, you don't have to attend that 4 hours all in one go. You can attend and bookmark where you are in that lesson. So what I'm going to do now is hand you over to Rachel Lomas, who will go through how we can help with your software assurance benefits, as well help with a blended learning platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Good morning, everyone. I'm Rachel Lomas, and I'm going to be taking you through the final section of this webinar, which is to have a look at some of the customers who are already using software assurance for their migration programs, and also show you around the live platform. So let's just have a look at some of the customers who are actually using software assurance or have used it as part of their blended migration training program. I've actually been working with the guys at Bytes now since about 2007, and customers had really just then started looking at how do we introduce e-learning, how do we introduce some other online materials, and bring that together with Classroom. Since then, Rachel and I have probably helped, I'm guessing, 12, 14 or so customers to migrate using blended learning in one form or another. The ones that we have listed here on this slide are the most recent projects that we've worked on. Some of those would have taken Classroom as part of their training migration program. Some will have taken Classroom and e-learning, and some will have utilized quick reference guides, Classroom and e-learning on the basis that they figure that way they can reach the entire organization in one way or another during the migration program. Some of the migrations have lasted 2 or 3 months and have been done quite intensively, and others have lasted sort of up to 12 months or longer. And they have either been sort of a big bang approach, or they've been by department, by business division, obviously according to the way their business likes to work and the type of planning that they have in place with their project managers and the migration team. Typically what happens is we work alongside the migration team to help develop the type of training program and deliver it out to the end users that they're looking for. So let's have a look at the blended training package that we've put together. Initially, in 2007, we were reaching out to various partners across the training industry to pull together solutions independently on a project-by-project basis for our customers. But we very quickly realized that a lot of our customers were looking for the same type of thing, and that it made more sense to have a standardized package, A, from a point of view that it was fairly quick to implement, and B, that the cost to the customer is therefore reduced rather than creating something bespoke every time. So the package we're going to show you today is what we refer to as our Tier 2 solution. And essentially what that means is that you can bring together a range of training materials in one place. You can produce messages around your migration, and you can reach your audience and communicate what you need to communicate with regards to the deployment and any support or training that sits with that. So what do you actually get within the package? Well, if you look at the upper half of the slide, you can see that the first bullet is really about us helping you. So it's an end-to-end service. In some projects there's a huge amount of planning involved, depending on where someone's starting from, and in others there's a team that already take care of pretty much most of the migration, and we are really just there to help plan the training and execute that and tailor it according to your needs. Clearly we help you implement the blended platform so that we can get the project live for you, and then we support it and maintain it once the implementation is in place. So if we look at the bullets underneath there, what's typically involved in this is really the positioning of all the correct materials, the messaging on the actual site itself, and then obviously communicating out to the users and deploying. If you are introducing a fully blended solution and you're working with Bytes to deliver your classroom, your e-learning, whether it be software assurance or whether it be one of our other content providers, what we will actually be able to do is provide you with free remote classroom administration. So we would then be able to upload all of the training schedules, sort out all of your users, issue joining instructions and so on through the system in one place. In addition to that, we would help you select the quick reference guides. You may have some that you've already created yourself in-house that you wish to upload, or you may like us to do it, or you may have another party involved that you wish to use and you want to upload their content. That's absolutely fine. We also work with you to decide how you want to import your user data. Sometimes companies like to use Active Directory and they like a seamless authentication, so it feels to the end user that everything is inside their own environment and their own network, and that's absolutely fine. We can do that. Other people like to upload users by department, by division, by location, on a piecemeal basis or on a monthly basis, and that's also fine. It depends really what works for you. We'll also help you communicate your email templates and any communications that go out, and then, as I said before, deploy as per your in-house migration rollout plan. 9 times out of 10 there are management reports required. Organizations like to know, who has access to system, who is going on, is the training being utilized, how many people are using what per month, and what courses are they actually training on, what's popular and what's not. There are some additional requirements that pop up from time to time, and you can see those listed below. And again, if that's a requirement for you, then we would take that offline and give you a separate price for doing any of those things. So what I'm going to do now, I know I've got a link there to the demonstration, but GoToMeeting doesn't always like to link through. So I'm going to just close this and take you out to my browser. And I'm going to log in to the site. Apologies if you can see the top of the toolbar for the browser is missing. Again, I think it's GoToMeeting it's not happy with. Anyway, what you would ordinarily see up here is my standard address bar with a URL, and the URL would be learners.mylearningstore.co.uk. That will bring your users to a login page. This login page, as it stands at the moment, is customized with our own Bytes My Learning Store brand right now, but if indeed you wanted to have it so that it was a landing site that was unique to yourselves, then that is also possible. There is a browser check here, so when users are new to the system or they haven't launched and they haven't been on it before, they can click here and they can find out whether they've got the correct browser settings, pop-ups, and so on. I'm not actually going to launch that today because it doesn't tend to like GoToMeeting and Citrix too well, and it will hang. So by all means, if you want to have access to a demo site after this live demo, then we can do so, and you can run those in your own environment and see how they work. So if I was a user and I decided that I was wanting to participate in the e-learning that my company was providing, I would choose the company site. So if it was, let's say, Barclays Bank or whoever, then here I would probably have Barclays as a drop-down, and I would know that that would be my company domain, and I would be signing in there. I would then put in my user credentials. Bear with me a second. And I would log in. That would bring me into this page. Hopefully when it settles down a little bit, it's flickering a little bit at the moment, you can see it's brought me into the landing page, or what we would call the home page. You can see it's green here. If I roll over these, they change. So I'm on the home page at the moment, so it welcomes me, and it welcomes me as Rachel Lomas. In this case, on my demo site, I've actually got my credentials back to front, but that's just the way I set it up. Ordinarily, it would be first name, last name. The first thing a user is prompted to do when they arrive on the site for the very first time is they're prompted to change their password, and they're prompted to fill out their security questions so that they can use the forgotten password functionality when they then come back and visit the site. What a user can also do is they can upload photographs or personalize the site according to their preferences, and their image would appear here. So looking at the site quickly on the home page to cover this for you, there's an area here that can be customized for yourselves. It's really just a welcome message. So you could, for example, say, welcome to our migration site. You could have some messaging around whether you're upgrading to Windows 7 or Office 2010 or SharePoint or whatever it may be, and some key points that you would want to make here to the learners that are visiting for the first time. Once they've actually seen and read that, that messaging can be closed and not shown again. The other points to note on the home page on the landing site is an individual can jump into their scheduled learning, which is their learning that they've already started and learning that's already available to them, something that they've already looked at putting on their learning plan for that year. They can actually go back and revisit any training that they have already started, a course that's actually in place already, and they can dive into those courses and continue from where they left off. If they have requested a training course, and this all depends on the way we wish to set the site up for you, but if you're, for example, wanting classroom training to be managed by managers or managed by administrators, this particular area here, awaiting manager approval, would list courses that they've actually selected to attend or selected to wish to join, and they're waiting for their line manager to approve it. Once it's then approved, it then populates and goes into their scheduled learning. So that's a holding area, if you like, where they can see something's been requested but it hasn't yet been signed off. In hints and tips, this really, again, the labels can be changed. This really is an area that you can use as an organization to provide unique information that you want people to know about. So maybe, let's use an example, if it was SharePoint and you were launching team sites and you wanted them to know that when they accessed a specific team site in a certain way, that the key things they needed to do, you could attach a video here, and you could put in some messaging and some information there to guide them towards this. So this area can be populated with anything that's important to you, and you can have several items there at one time. The statistics box, this actually relates to courses that the individual has done themselves and the company average. So I, for example, would have my results showing in the darker green here on the graph, and other learners in the organization, let's say there was 100 or so of them, their cumulative averages would be gathered together, and I would be able to see what their training hours, training progress was like here. So it really is just a benchmarking statistic that can actually be used to encourage people to do more training. There's a popular course area, so this allows the administrator to highlight each month courses that are very popular with learners, things that are being used quite frequently on the site, and also a place for new releases. So if you introduce anything partway through the migration and you want people to be aware of it, that would be the area there that they would click into. The other quick link or quick launch point that individuals will actually have is, of course, the blended learning piece, which is any classroom bookings, any classroom schedule that is available to them, either on new features or more intermediate training as well. So we've had a look at the home page and everything that's involved there. What I'm going to do now is just talk to you briefly about this menu across the top, and then we'll dive into some of the areas, and hopefully if the technology Citrix holds together, I can launch a few things and show you a few bits and pieces. So the menu items move across the top, and obviously the more you have, then the more scrolling you have to do along the arrow to bring them back and forth. So initially we have the e-learning catalogue, and that's pretty self-explanatory. We'll dive into that and just show you what that looks like. The e-learning catalogue is the place where all your categories of different types of content are stored. And then, of course, it lists all of your training courses within each of those categories as well. So you can view them, have a look at them, launch them from your catalogue and so on. That's really the place to browse, really, for individuals to see what's going on. Classroom events is, as you can clearly see, is a place where you can browse and view class calendars. You can have a look at courses that are available. You can see what's going on within any particular schedule across the organisation, and you can also view your own calendar from here as well. Learning plan is, as it says, I've browsed my catalogue, I've looked at classroom events. Now these are the things that I've actually chosen. They're my scheduled training for the rest of the year, for the rest of this migration, for the rest of this month. So within here I will have planned courses, things that I've assigned to myself or things that have been assigned to me, courses that I've got on the go currently happening, any courses that I've completed, and of course any certificates or completions that I've actually achieved throughout the time that I've been on the site. My reports is, as it clearly says here, is an area where you can view your progress. You can have a look at your status. You can see whether or not you've completed a particular course, what's in progress, what's not. You can have a look at how long it's taken you to actually achieve something, any relevant scores, and total duration. These statistics can be exported and launched either to Excel or to PDF, so that you can, if you like, print them off or save them or forward them to a manager or do whatever you need to do, discuss them in an appraisal. They're there really for you to utilize. Quick reference guides is the other area of the site. So we're bringing together the blend of training, we're bringing together e-learning, we're bringing together classroom, and we're bringing together reference guides. These could be PDFs, they could be Word documents, and they could cover the key features and items that you wish people to actually have a look at or be part of. We have a sample one in there, which I'll show you in a second. Knowledge Forum is, as you would imagine, this is a forum that is managed either by a trainer who's on site or an administrator remotely. And typically the forum will focus on a particular topic. It could be a new feature topic, it could be a Windows 7 topic, it could be anything really that you want it to be that's relevant to your organization, or the trainer thinks that people need to kind of follow up on or they may have difficulties with. And you can actually read and view posts that are on there and update things, and the trainer can message and answer back and reply to individuals. Obviously, with all forums, then it has to be moderated, it has to be looked after to make sure that there's no untoward comments made there, but it's the ability is there for you to be able to open and close forums and discuss things with your learners. Frequently asked questions is as you would expect it to be. It's sort of, you know, how do I get started? How do I change my password? All the typical kind of comments you would expect to see with any site, really, just to help the user get along and cover the basics. In addition to that, there is the support page. Clearly, you know, where do I go if I have a problem? Where do I report an issue to? Usually in the support setup procedures that we have, the first line of call is to talk to your internal help desk to make sure there's nothing wrong with your own company internet or network connections and so on, and then come through to the Bytes training desk, log an issue, log a call, and then the relevant responses followed up from there with the technical teams. Add a navigation, and this is really where we start to introduce social media and external sites or other sites that organizations may wish their learners to have access to. So I've got two examples in here, for example, Google and Wikipedia, but really and truly you could have anything. If you're an engineering firm and there's a particular site that you like someone to go to, or if you want them to go to microsoftoffice.com, then you can populate these, the administrator can set them up, and you can have any number of external sites that can be added to the main menu. So if I wanted to add Wikipedia to my menu, I'd literally click this green button here and upload it through, so it would appear as a short link through on my menu. So what I'm going to try and do now, hopefully Citrix will behave. I can see my screen's flickering a little bit. I'm going to try and see if I can launch a course from my learning plan to show you the software assurance course itself. So let me have a look and see if I have a course here that I can launch. One of the things I wanted to mention to you, I'm not sure if I did, but you have the ability as well to tag in this site. So an individual, let's say, okay, this one has actually been done for us, has used this particular course before and they found it quite useful for one item or for another. It could be inserting tables or sending an email. They can actually tag it and give it a label. So this one has got formatting against it, can have as many tags as it likes, but essentially it just helps users understand and have a bit more of an educational insight into content that is relevant and good for particular reasons. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attempt to try and start this course, and I will apologize in advance if GoToMeeting misbehaves. And I will try and launch the course. It gives me a little bit more information about it, its rating, how long it is, whether it's in English, and so on, and then I can go ahead and launch. Oh, and it's telling me my session is timed out. Okay, so let's see if I can. I'm not sure if I can refresh because I can't see my menu to refresh, so that's a bit tricky. Let me see if I can log back out and log back in. That will hopefully refresh it. Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit tricky for Citrix when there's an awful lot going on. Okay. So I'll try and launch Word again. Fingers crossed it will like it this time. Okay, so it's launched my course for me. I'm not sure if you can hear that. I'll just pause that for a second. But what we've done here is we've actually come back in and bookmarked where I've obviously at another occasion logged off. But ordinarily, you would be able to start the course at the beginning, covering the course overview, the course navigation, and then you'd be able to move through and work through any elements of the course that you wanted to. There's nothing to stop you diving in and just looking at the course interface, what does the new interface look at, or doing any of the tests. but you can as well work sequentially and logically through a course. What we're looking at here is a video clip and a screen capture that Microsoft have inserted within the course talking to us about the new interface. So I'll just let that play for a little bit and then I'll exit the course. Okay, well she will continue on and do quite a bit, but essentially you have about 3 or 4 modules within each course, each Microsoft course. So we've got Exploring the Office Program and Interface, New Improved Features, and then a summary and an introduction. So your individuals would work and choose through any of the training as they saw fit. Once they've worked on what they've had a look at, they would then choose Exit and exit the course. This would then track back to the learning management system. We have the ability to upload brief surveys or fuller surveys depending on your preferences and collect some evaluation material. On this occasion I didn't complete my training, so I'm not going to rate the course. I'm not actually going to say yes, I've completed it or fill out any of the other information. If I had, then I would, so I will submit as no, and that would bring me back. It would bookmark where I am and bring me back into the actual site itself. Now when we look at a blended learning, we obviously want to have the ability to launch e-learning content, but we want to have the ability to book a classroom training event as well. So let's assume that the Bytes training team have uploaded your schedule. They've uploaded all courses that you are going to have available, whether they be virtual classroom or live classroom, into your database, if you like, into the back end of this system. And what we're going to do now is look at it from a learner's perspective and say, okay, what classes can I attend, what can I book? So we'll just browse the class calendar at the moment. And again, apologies for the flickering. What you can see here is now coming up is the list of events that are actually happening in my location, in my organization, and the different types of training courses that are available. I can see a brief overview of what might be on each of those courses. If I flick over them, this one is Outlook Level 1. I can see that there's 8 available seats, that the course is running on the 1st of April. Bytes are actually delivering this course for me. It is a full-day course and it's instructor-led. So I can go ahead and view who's delivering that course. I can look at any relevant icons and check out any pre-class materials if appropriate. Normally in migrations it's not really, but that's more related to certification training. And then I can go ahead and I can choose to book that course. Okay, I like that course, I'm going to book it. What should then happen, and I'm not sure with Citrix if it will, but I should get an email, oh, jolly good, which then shows me that I've actually registered for the class. These are my class details. I could then look and say, oh crikey, I've booked the wrong one. I've booked myself on level 2. And if I needed to, I could get in touch and cancel that course. If I wanted to keep it because it was the right course, then I would literally open up the course and I would save it into my Outlook and it would be populated in my Outlook. So I'd have a copy of it in my Outlook and I would have a copy of it in my training calendar on my site. So now if I look in my learning management system on the platform, I can see that I've registered onto the event. I do have the option to cancel it and send it through to the administrator and tell them that, sorry, I can't make it anymore, I've got something going on that day. And I can double check and make sure that it's in my class calendar as well. And it should have changed colour. I should have made a note of the date. There we are. It's Wednesday the 3rd, and I can look and see, yes, I'm approved for that course. It's the correct colour. It's in my calendar. That's the course I'm going on. if the system was all connected and set up, and this is just a demo site at the moment, what would then happen is that course would appear in my learning plan as a planned event that I'm actually attending, and it would appear here as well, so that I know that it's booked, it's in, and I'm registered for it. So the other thing to show yourselves just before we move on is certificates. So if I've completed a course, whether it be a classroom course or whether it be an e-learning course, I can actually download my certificate, and I'll try and do this. Hopefully it will behave itself. I can open the certificate, the download, and I can get my course, I can save it on my desktop, keep it in one of my folders, or I can print a copy of it and store that for use at some other time. So I can pull certificates off. Now these can obviously be branded according to how you wish them to be. I'm going to guess that that's the X there. I can't really see too well on my site. Oh, I must have guessed wrong. There we are. So I've downloaded my certificate. I'll now go back into my site and see if there's anything else that I wanted to do. The other thing I wanted to show you and launch for you, if Citrix will permit us to, is the Word documents, the reference guides. So I can either have a 2-page, a 1-page guide, or something other than that that I can look at. And this one is a document covering referencing in Word. This is purely just an example to show you how we can import things into the site, but you can have any kind of information there that you choose. This one is just a Word copy of one of the suppliers that Rachel's team work with. So there you can see I've actually been able to launch guides, launch e-learning, book classroom courses, and I have the ability to print off certificates and run some reports as well. I will just see if there's anything else that I have missed that I wanted to show you, but I think that is everything really that we've covered. And again, apologies for the flickering on the site. I think it's really just Citrix holding its connection and sharing with you. I'm going to pass back now to Rachel and the team, if I can.
Okay, now. Thank you very much, Rachel. Yes, hi. So hopefully you enjoyed the webinar today to have a look at our Bytes Learning Services blended learning approach to help you with any sort of desktop migration, get the most out of your software assurance benefits that sit on your agreement. Now we'll look at some sort of questions that may have been posted. Won't keep you a moment. Okay, we've had one question about the learning material to see if it's available in different languages, i.e. French, Belgian, Dutch. With reference to learning materials, if you are a Microsoft Software Assurance e-learning member, then yes, the e-learning is available in up to 19 different languages. What I can do is, after the webinar, is let you know what the languages are available. With documentation, quick reference guides, PDF manuals, then what we can do is, yes, within reason we can provide other language documents. We may have to create those bespoke, but we will have a look with our current providers to see if they do multiple languages. Just wanted to see if anybody else had any other questions that they may need to be answered. Okay, looks like there's no other questions that are going to be submitted today. As Sarah mentioned, what we do is we will forward you a copy of our webinar, and thank you very much for your time today. Hopefully you can see some benefit by using Bytes Software Services.